Hello guys, this is Doran's Movies, and today I got a discussion video regarding the entire thing that happened and the Blizzard subscription report / scandal that pretty much everyone has been talking about. And please, just before I get into this discussion, just keep in mind that I'm not doing this for clickbait because it's currently the hot topic, so I'm trying to jump on the hype train or on that boat or whatever it is that everyone's talking about. Like, it's the huge thing right now, everyone's talking in the World of Warcraft community. And I usually just tend to avoid these types of videos, especially when it comes to complaining about something, because I know a lot of people like to complain. Like, that's their main thing they're doing, they just complain and complain. And I mainly just try to do something constructive. I try to do like videos, like lore lessons or something like that, where you can actually learn something about it instead of just like making pointless videos. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is just because I want to get my thoughts out on the entire thing that's currently happening. So, if you're active on the social media or anything WoW related, or you're a part of the WoW community, you would notice that everyone is talking about this like it's the end of the world of Warcraft. And the same thing happened with the 6.1 announcement and the release, although not as in the big number as it is right now, because people still complain, but not as much as they're now. And pretty much everyone and their mother was just talking about how this would kill the World of Warcraft. And I personally think that this current situation is just a consequence of the previous situation, like the previous problem with the lack of content. And people are saying it is the biggest drop ever since release, but logically, it kind of makes some sense. I mean, it's not a great thing, but it actually makes sense, and I actually expected this drop because the game was released in November last year, and now it's May of 2015, so it's been about half a year or even more than that since they did any significant content, and I really can't count 6.1 as content. I mean, it was a patch, they added some stuff, but they didn't really add anything you can actually play except for the legendary quest, so I personally don't have that much of an issue with this. Like, I'm not trying to be super subjective because in my opinion it's not a big problem, because I know for some people it is, because I don't personally get that much time to play the game as it is anyways. I mean, everyone thinks YouTube is all fun and games, you get to play games all day, but in reality I spend most of my time just recording stuff, writing scripts, editing, or doing other stuff. So when I play World of Warcraft, I mainly just log in, do some garrison stuff, maybe a few raids, dungeons, or level some of my other characters, but I don't really play for that long, although I might in the future. I actually plan on starting streaming in a few days again because I haven't streamed in ages, so I might play some more World of Warcraft then, but I haven't really burnt out through all the content as a lot of people have, although I am personally starting to get a bit bored as well, and I think 90% of the people playing World of Warcraft right now kinda had the same feeling. Like, the garrisons, they were cool at start, like it was the kind of unique feature. It wasn't really that unique, but it was unique for World of Warcraft, and once you do it all the time, it kind of becomes a chore, and I don't really feel like doing something like that in my free time when I just want to play a game or just relax, and it's not really something I want to do all the time, like every day. So yes, I expected a subscriber drop, maybe not as big as almost 3 million, I expected about 2 million, maybe 1.5 million, but logically the 3 million drop actually makes sense because it isn't anything super out of proportion. Like, a lot of people think this is so outlandish, like 3 million, the World of Warcraft is just dead right now. I mean, at launch they had 10 millions, but before the launch they were at about the same number as they are right now, and it really isn't surprising one bit. I mean, they hyped up the expansion, they did pretty much everything in their marketing budget they could do to hype up the expansion, the entire taxi thing, the billboards and everything, and people were just super hyped for Warlords of Draenor, and a lot of people saw it and think it looked cool, so they returned back to WoW, and some people after finally after 10 years decided to actually pick up WoW and try it, as they have been hearing about it for ages. So they loved it for a few months and they got bored of it and they just unsubbed. It really isn't anything crazy, like it happens all the time. I know a lot of people who unsubbed, and I've actually seen a lot of you guys comment on how you unsubbed from World of Warcraft, although you're still watching some of my videos, and I would say in the majority of the people that unsubbed, it isn't really permanent because people unsub all the time, but it becomes a group thing when there really isn't anything much to do, so a lot of people unsub at the same time. And there is really nothing weird about it. People get bored, they unsub, they do other stuff. like WoW intrigues them again, they resub, play a while, then there's no content and they unsub, and after that there's more content, they sub back. So it's quite a regular thing and it's pretty logical. I mean, most people don't want to pay a monthly fee because for some people paying for World of Warcraft is a lot and for some people it isn't anything, and most people just don't want to waste money for a game monthly if they aren't going to actually play the game. So for everyone that's freaking out, it really isn't the end of World of Warcraft right now or the downfall of it. Like maybe if they drop the subs for like, if there were like 7 million drop or something like that, maybe that would be the downfall. Although they could still probably recover from that. But the main issue, like if World of Warcraft was actually going to fail, it would have to start at Blizzard if they actually stopped caring about the game. Like it's a 11-year-old game, so we're not gonna care anymore. But they're still caring about the game. They still have a huge team that's working on the game. They're working on future expansions. I believe they have like 2 or 3 expansions planned already, so it's definitely not dead. Although I can understand the people that think that way, as you can't blame anyone else for the drop except Blizzard, because let's be honest, they haven't actually made any content in ages. And it's cool that they're planning stuff, it's cool that they're doing stuff for the future, but they really need to do stuff for the people that are playing in the present, and you can't just keep going on with these gaps. Like, it's kinda cool, I guess. I mean, it's not cool, but it's tolerable if it's like one gap with the Cataclysm, but then there was a huge gap with the Siege of Orgrimmar, and there is a huge gap right now. It's just probably not gonna be as big as Siege of Orgrimmar is, but it's still a big gap, and if you have these 10-month gaps all the time, people will just quit the game. They will just get tired of it. Like, they can tolerate one gap, but if you could just keep doing that every expansion, people will just unsub, and maybe at some point they won't resub like they did before. Now, I'm not really trying to be a fanboy of Blizzard, because everyone kind of labels, if you defend Blizzard, it's like you're like a fanboy of Blizzard, but they can only really blame themselves. I mean, they tried super hard, they got the subs back, they even increased in subs from before, and then they just let their guard down, they kinda laid back and they worked on the future stuff, so they didn't really care for the present, and they lost the subs, and that is not really something you're in a position to do when you have an 11-year-old game that you need to keep going for a long time. So it was really kind of a screw up on the Blizzard's part, and hopefully they will learn from that and maybe kind of continue on the game. A lot of people think they will just quit working on World of Warcraft and that World of Warcraft is gonna die, but I honestly think they will just learn from this mistake and they kind of won't do the same thing they did with Worlds of Draenor. Now, the only thing that kinda annoys me with these news, and this is the main reason why I made this video, and that is pretty much everyone hating on World of Warcraft, or everyone that has been complaining about World of Warcraft for like years now, is just super thrilled by these news. This is something they have been waiting for. Like, wow, subs are down, I'm so glad, finally, because I quit WoW and no one cared, but now others are quitting, so that makes my reason completely valid, so I'm not the only one that quit, and a lot of people are just kind of jumping on the train right now, because most of these people that are saying World of Warcraft is dead are the people that have been saying that for like the past 10 years, so it's really nothing surprising. It is kind of the minority of the people that unsubbed. And this is the main reason why people get this nostalgia. They always talk about how the game was much better before, and I kind of completely get that point of view, because you can't enjoy the same game for 11 years, the same as you did when you started playing the game, because I personally still enjoy World of Warcraft, although I definitely do not enjoy it the same as I did when I started the game, because I remember when I started the game, I thought this was like the best thing ever. Like, I logged in on my Orc Warrior, I believe I'm still playing an Orc Warrior, and you're like in this world with other people. There is like this huge world of Azeroth that I actually knew before from Warcraft 3, so it was a really amazing feeling, but I can't keep the same feeling for like 7 or 8 years, and I definitely understand that point of view. I mean, most games you kind of play, you get bored of after a few months and you never play it again. But WoW is a very specific game. I personally get bored of WoW a lot of times and I always kind of come back. I mean, I don't really unsub because I have to do videos, but I get bored of World of Warcraft from time to time, but I always kind of get back into it. I'm always interested in World of Warcraft, the WoW lore. I might not like the game at some points, like the content they're doing right now, but I still kind of play the game. Usually, like when I don't play the game, I just log in every like few days, but when I play the game, I log in pretty much every day, so it isn't really the end of the world, because the World of Warcraft is not the only game out there. A lot of people pretend like it is, so if you're bored from World of Warcraft, just go play something else, do something else. I don't know, just do something else. You don't really have to play just World of Warcraft. There's so many other things you could do, and if WoW gets interesting for you again, you can just get back to it. You just don't need to complain all the time, because a lot of people are already doing that. So these are just my thoughts on the entire thing. As I said, I'm not one of those channels that have been waiting for this news just so I can talk about it all day and keep complaining and complaining. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the entire scandal, if you can even call it a scandal. So do leave your comments below if you're still playing the game, if you're gonna come back to the game, and what are your thoughts on the entire news about the World of Warcraft sub drop. And also don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, as it really helps out the channel and keeps all the videos going. And thanks a lot for taking your time out of the day to watch this video, and see you next time.